All right, so I'm doing this Ask HershNoeie. I'm debating on if I need to add more light. Hold on. I think I do because it's kind of dark. Okay, that's much better. It's starting to get warm, and it's, I don't know, this time of year, I'm not that much of a fan. I like it when it's like not super hot. And I know people are going to say 78 is not hot, but for us here, it's kind of hot. Anyway, make sure you join the Discord. It's going to be down in the description box below. This Ask HershNoeie is someone said that what should they do? Is the title. Hey Hirsch, I am in a situation where my future is not going where I thought it would go. I have a friend of mine who actually committed a criminal act. I was with them at the time and didn't know that they were doing this type of thing. They had stopped at a store, told me to just wait for them. I had gotten in the car originally to just get a ride across town because my car had broken down on me. And so I needed to have someone take me to where I needed to go. And they said, not a problem. As we were going, they said, I need to stop at the store and just wait for me. So later he comes out and had a bag of stuff. We head out of the parking lot kind of quick, and quite literally, as we go down the street, our car's pulled over, and I find out he actually stole stuff from the store. We both got in trouble for this. As a result, now whenever I'm looking for a job, this is something that I have to actually report. I wasn't a part of this, and now I'm facing the consequences. What should I do? Um, it's a good question. Sorry, I'm chewing some of the kids' Easter gum. It's good. It's bomb. But anyway, um, here's the thing. I think that when you are, be very careful with who your friends are. And this is something that I've always took to heart. Be very careful with who your friends are, who you're getting in the car with, all of that, because crap like this does happen. And I understand when you're young, sometimes you're not thinking about that, and you just, you need, especially when your car has quit on you and you're in desperate need of getting to where you got to go, and you're looking for someone to help you, you're not thinking that something stupid would happen. But you have to be very careful with who you are. I mean, dust fly around because I cleaned off that thing. You got to be very careful with who you're friends with, because things like this pop up, and then you're the one that's holding the bag at the end of the day. And you're right, a lot of employers will look at this and say, nah. Now, I don't know the details as to how much, was stolen or any of that type of stuff. But the fact that you are now suffering the consequences, it's kind of like, well, what do I do to fix it? To be honest with you, the only thing you can do is be honest. When you fill out a job application, the best thing to do is to be honest. I used to hire people. I used to hire and fire people. And one of the things you want to do is, when you are applying for a job, they ask you, have you, now I don't know if you were convicted of it or not. I don't, this person didn't say. But when they ask you, have you been arrested? Have you been convicted of this or that? Then you want to basically tell them what happened. Be truthful, be honest. There'll be people who tell you, nah, I wouldn't say nothing. That's not good, because if they find out that you were not telling the truth, then there's going to be some pretty heavy consequences, right? It's just not worth it. It's not worth it at all. I always believe in being honest and fair to people, and you got to be fair to your employer and let them know what's going on. They may look at it and say, well, explain this to me. Now, if it were me and someone, because I had someone where they got involved in stuff, and when I looked at their application, I have to be honest, when I saw that, yeah, they had been convicted of something, I'm like, well, I kind of lost interest, right? But still, I wanted to do an interview with them. I did an interview with them, and I asked them to explain it, and they explained what happened and the fact that they have changed as a person and this, that, and the other. And I believed them. Now, they didn't get the job, not because of that. They just didn't interview good. But to say that it doesn't cause an initial turn, like if you're an employer, you can't help but look at that and be like, ooh, right? It's just human nature. But if you're given the opportunity to explain it in detail. Explain exactly what happened. Explain that this was not something that you were a part of. You just ended up getting wrapped up into something. And typically you'll be okay. Now, I can't say that's always going to be the case where employers won't care, but that's pretty much the best that you can do. Now, what I would suggest doing is to counteract those types of things, right? What can you do in your community that's going to look good? You know, right now, especially during the time when people have to wear these masks, there are a lot of people who are struggling and who need help. We always have people that need help regardless. So a lot of these shelters, I would volunteer. The food banks, I would volunteer. Soup kitchens, I would volunteer. Any place that you can volunteer at and give back to your community, I would do that. I would do that for probably a year, even if it was just an hour here and there or whatever. I would do that for a year, because what that shows is that you're a good person, you have good faith, that you're willing to help your community, right? So that helps build trust. The other side piece to that is you may luck up into a job, because someone may say, well, who are you? You're doing such a good job. They may end up hiring you. So sometimes Tupac said it best. After fire, there's rain. After there's pleasure, there's pain, right? Sometimes there can be something that's really, really bad, but if you navigate it correctly, it can turn out to be something that's a blessing. It can be a good thing, right? It may suck that you got there, and it's horrible that the person that did this to you did what they did, but you can always sometimes turn things around. You may have to do a couple extra steps, but that's what I would do. If I was in that situation, I would basically try to find other avenues to help kind of reinvent me a little bit, have other people be able to speak on my character, because when you have to put down references, those are the references you can put down. You can say, contact these different organizations and contact these people in particular. And when you do volunteer, the people who are leading that organization is who I would definitely try to talk to the most. Try to ask them questions like, why did you join this organization? What about this organization do you like? Do you relate to this type of work? Like, ask them a bunch of questions. Ask them personal questions. And that type of stuff, just getting to know other people, is good in general, because having conversations with people is always beneficial. It helps you build and grow. You can learn a lot of things, but also you're able to know more about that individual and can help spark something in you, right? The flip side of that is they get to know you more as a person. They tend to end up having a conversation with you and asking you questions. You can explain your story and what happened to you, and it could be a beneficial thing both ways. So when you really and truly need someone to vouch for you, they're able to speak on that. They're able to talk about that. They're able to say, like, with certainty, like, hey, this individual, I know them. They unfortunately got wrapped up in something that wasn't really their fault. He ended up paying the price for it, but for the last year, they've been, a stellar person. They've been volunteering here, different times during the week. They helped organize this. They helped do this. They helped do that. All those types of things can be helpful. And when they hear different organizations saying that, then And it's not, it's different when an employer says, yeah, he was a good employee. When you have nonprofits who you volunteer your time and you're giving back, you're not getting paid, but you're giving back, sometimes that carries a lot more weight than an employer saying that, yeah, they worked here, they were good. Because a lot of times they can't tell that, hey, yeah, they were good, unless you put down a person as a reference and say, hey, tell me about the person, then they can. But sometimes it carries more weight when you have a volunteer type effort versus a paid job. So that's what I would do. In the meantime, or in the future, be very careful with who you associate with, hang out with, that type of thing. My mom always said, keep your nose clean. Make sure that you're very, very careful with who you're around. Limit some of the people that you're around in general. Make sure you vet a person very well. And I understand your circumstance was you needed an immediate ride. This day and age, I'd take an Uber if I had to. Would. If it's somebody that I know that, you can't trust, or you're not sure that you can trust them, take an Uber. If you don't have a relative that you can really, that you trust, if you don't have someone that can take you, then go that route. But anyhow, hope that gives you some sort of insight. Make sure you join the Discord, which is going to be down in the description box below. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. I'm going to go enjoy some of the sun. It's the weekend. It's Saturday. So, yeah. Maybe one. No, I can't barbecue tonight. I was going to barbecue, but I'm not going to barbecue. Anyhow, until next time, I will see you. Take care.